In this video, we're going to look at second order differential equations. So a second order differential equation is simply a differential equation, so that's an equation with a derivative in, but one where the highest order of derivative is the second. So second derivative. So this here is a second order differential equation. It's just one that you already know how to solve. Let's just do this. If the second derivative is 18x plus 5, well, the first derivative must be the integral of this. So that's going to be 9x squared plus 5x plus c, and therefore y is the integral of this, which is going to be 3x cubed plus 5 over 2x squared plus cx, and then plus another constant d. So that's the general solution to this second order differential equation. Except we're not going to be focusing on second order differential equations like that. We're going to be looking at ones that look more like this. So typically we're looking at differential equations that have some amount of second derivative, some amount of first derivative, and some amount of y. In this case, it's set equal to 0, which is something we'd call a homogeneous second order differential equation. More on that later. Sometimes it's equal to a function of x, like sine x, and that's called a non-homogeneous second order differential equation. Don't worry about the terminology now, there's lots of jargon there. We're going to focus on the homogeneous ones, that's ones equal to 0. Let's start off with one that we may be able to guess. So can we think of a function where the second derivative minus the original function is 0? Well, a good guess would be a function that just never changes. Now, e to the x is a good candidate for that. And indeed, y equals e to the x is one solution to this second order differential equation. And the reason is simply that dy by dx is e to the x, and d2y by dx squared is e to the x. So yeah, d2y by dx squared minus y is indeed 0. Can we think of any other solutions? Well, sneaky extra solution is y equals any number times e to the x, because dy by dx is the same and the second derivative is the same. So we could actually generalize and say that a e to the x is a general solution to this. But there's more. Now, I encourage you to pause the video and see if you can find another solution. If you weren't sure where to start, you might say, well, if e to the x worked, I wonder if any other exponential function might work. For instance, I wonder if y equals e to the mx could work. Well, let's see. If y is e to the mx, dy by dx is m e to the mx, and d2y by dx squared is m squared e to the mx. So subbing it into this equation here would give us m squared e to the mx minus e to the mx equals 0. Well, I can actually solve this because I can factorize out e to the mx, and I'm left with m squared minus 1. Now, e to the mx is never 0, but m squared minus 1 is, and it's 0 when m is 1 or minus 1. So when m equals 1, that's just the solution we've already got. But we found another one, e to the minus x. In fact, y equals any number, let's call it b, times e to the minus x also works, because look, dy by dx is minus b e to the minus x, and d2y by dx squared is back to positive b e to the minus x. And so, yeah, d2y by dx squared minus y is 0. So we can have any amount of e to the x, and we can have any amount of e to the minus x. And what this means is our general solution to this differential equation is a e to the x plus b e to the minus x. That is, you can sub in any amount of either of these into this and they'll all just disappear. We won't normally work through it in such detail, but let's just check and see. dy by dx is a e to the x minus b e to the minus x, and d2y by dx squared is a e to the x plus b e to the minus x. So yes, the second derivative, which is this, minus the original function, is indeed 0. Now, that's quite a long process, and it involved basically guessing. Can we do better? Well, let's see. See if you can, well, I say let's see if we can do better. See if you can guess a solution to this. Well, maybe you got one, maybe you didn't. Let's see if we can guess in a structured way. I'm going to guess that y equals e to the mx is a solution. So this is the same as what we did last time. We're going to see if we can generalize something from this. dy by dx is e to the mx, and d2y by dx squared is m squared e to the mx. Let's sub that into here, and we get m squared e to the mx plus m e to the mx minus 2 times e to the mx. Factorising out e to the mx, which remember can't be 0, leaves us with m squared plus m minus 2 equals 0. So e to the mx can't be 0, but m squared plus m minus 2 can. If you solve that quadratic, you get m equals 1 or m equals minus 2. So that means that we could have e to the 1x or e to the x. We could also have any multiple of that, a e to the x. And we could also have any amount of e to the minus 2x. This tells me that the general solution to this differential equation is y equals any amount of e to the 1x and any amount, not necessarily the same, of e to the minus 2x. So this is a general solution. There are two arbitrary constants. If we were given some more information, like y equals 3 when x is 0 or something, and maybe another, well, definitely another point, we'd be able to find a and b, and we'll do that later on. But this process is what we're going to use to solve these, and in particular this quadratic here is what we'll always get. This quadratic is called the auxiliary equation, and it's basically a way of solving this where when we solve that auxiliary quadratic, it will give us two solutions, and those are the two things that go here and here as the coefficients on x in the power. We can generalize, and we can say that if we have a times d2y by dx squared plus b times dy by dx plus cy, we form the following auxiliary. Our guess, and we don't always need to do this guess, this is just so you understand where this comes from, our guess would be e to the mx. And by the way, we haven't actually proved that nothing else satisfies it, but we have seen that these are good candidates. In fact, they are the only candidates in these cases. Here are these derivatives, m squared e to the mx. Subbing in here, we get a m squared e to the mx plus b m e to the mx plus c e to the mx equals 0. I'm not even going to bother factorising out the e to the mx. I'm just going to divide through by it. I know it's not 0. That leads me to a m squared plus b m plus c equals 0. So this thing here is called the auxiliary equation or the auxiliary quadratic. It's simply replacing the second derivative with m squared, the first derivative with m, and y with 1, and solving this quadratic and finding the values of m. They're going to give you the coefficients of x. So typically, if your values of m are two real numbers, alpha and beta, the solution is going to be y equals any amount of e to the alpha x plus any amount of e to the beta x. So let's apply that here. So my auxiliary equation here, well, I see it's 1 times the second derivative, so that's m squared. It's 1 times the first derivative, so that's m, and it's minus 12 times 1. We solve this, this one factorizes, this is m plus 4, m minus 3 Of course, you don't need to write this down. It means that m is -4 or 3. And this tells me that the general solution to this second order homogeneous differential equation is y equals a, any amount of e to the -4x, plus b, any amount of e to the 3x. So here's a summary of what we've got so far. If you have a times the second derivative plus b times the first derivative plus cy equals 0, and am squared plus bm plus c equals 0 has distinct real roots, alpha and beta, then y equals a e to the alpha x plus b e to the beta x are solutions to the differential equation. This looks, I think, like quite a lot at first, but actually, when you do a bit of practice, you're going to find it's a very simple technique and quite quick and easy to solve. So what could possibly go wrong? Well, if we have something like this and we form a differential, the auxiliary equation, we get m squared minus 4m plus 5 equals 0. Solve this however you like, maybe with a calculator, and we're getting this, and this has imaginary roots, complex roots. We're going to end up with m equals 2 plus or minus I. So what do we do when we have imaginary or complex roots to our auxiliary equation? Stick around and I'll show you in the next video.